Power doesn't always roar. Sometimes it enters the room without saying a word, and still changes everything. What's up, Ascenders? Welcome back to Sigma Ascends, where we don't play by social norms, we interrogate them. Today we're unlocking a hidden psychological loop most people haven't even noticed. Not in relationships, not in attraction, not even in power dynamics. You've been told that Sigma males are best matched with Sigma females. A perfect, quiet harmony of detached mastery. Two people who live in their heads, love their solitude and avoid the spotlight. On paper, it looks perfect. But let's get real. When did the Sigma male ever operate on paper? The truth. The Sigma male isn't silently craving a mirror. He's secretly drawn to something louder, more alive. Someone who doesn't tiptoe into the room, but owns it. He's obsessed with alpha females. But not the cliché ones you see yelling on TikTok. We're talking about real alpha energy. Not loudness, but leadership. Not arrogance, but presence. The kind of woman who doesn't need validation, yet commands it by existing. So if you're new here, subscribe now. This isn't another feel-good channel. We don't sell comfort, we push clarity. Join the ranks of the Ascenders, the ones who don't wait to be told how the world works. We flip the script and rewrite it. Let's crack this code wide open. 1. Opposites. Magnetized, not mirrored. People say like attracts like. That's a myth. Or at best, a lazy oversimplification, especially when it comes to the Sigma male. This man is wired differently. He doesn't move with the herd. He's not out there looking for attention, status, or praise. He's a walking paradox, socially invisible but psychologically magnetic. A ghost in the system. And yet, there's one type of woman who flips all his internal defenses. The alpha female. Why? Because she is everything he is not trying to be, and everything he unconsciously respects. She's loud where he's silent, direct where he's discreet, dominant where he's calculated. She doesn't step back, she steps forward. And that contrast doesn't repel him, it awakens him. He doesn't want another ghost in the room. He already mastered that world. What he craves now is someone who interrupts his stillness with force, not chaos, but presence. Alpha females are not just different, they're disruptive. And let's be clear, the Sigma male isn't some submissive energy looking to be led. No, what he's after is a challenge worth engaging. A force strong enough to stir his waters, but smart enough not to drown in them. The Sigma-Sigma dynamic is safe. Too safe. It's built on mutual distance, not dynamic exchange. But alpha females, they bring a storm. And in the eye of that storm, the Sigma feels something rare. Movement. Not all movement is loud. Some of it is internal, subconscious, primal. That's where obsession lives. 2. The dynamic that breaks the equation Sigmas don't chase. They calculate. Everything they do is intentional, from the words they choose to the people they engage. That's what makes them so mysterious and so powerful. But here's the paradox. Alpha females are the only unpredictable variable in the Sigma male's otherwise controlled world. He knows how to handle passive, he knows how to handle fake confidence, but authentic dominance from a woman who doesn't need him? That's unfamiliar. That breaks the formula. It's like a chess player who finally meets someone playing an entirely different game, with different rules, a different tempo, and zero fear. That disruption is what hooks the Sigma in. With Sigma women, there's a kind of mutual retreat. No one pushes, no one provokes, and over time, the dynamic flatlines. But alpha females, they provoke by existing. They don't tiptoe around the Sigma's silence, they question it. They challenge his logic, they push back, not to compete, but to collide. And the Sigma, deep down, doesn't want peace. He wants friction that means something. He wants to be forced into presence. Because let's face it, most of the world feels like background noise to him. But an alpha female, she demands focus. She commands attention without asking, and she gives none back unless it's earned. That tension is addictive. And that addiction, it's not weakness, it's respect in disguise. 3. The war of egos that turns into respect. Let's get one thing straight. The Sigma male doesn't kneel. He doesn't need external validation, emotional dependency, or approval from the crowd. But the one thing he does respond to, the only language he truly respects, is force of will. Now enter the alpha female. This isn't your influencer alpha who posts quotes about being a boss while falling apart behind the scenes. This is the real deal. A woman who walks into a room with presence, challenges BS without raising her voice, and builds empires while most people are still trying to find their place. When her path crosses the Sigma male, it's not smooth, not even close. It's a clash. Two sovereign energies, two people who don't fold. There are no fireworks, just a cold war of glances, silences, and subtle power moves. But here's what makes it powerful. Neither of them backs down. Most people avoid the Sigma. He's too unreadable, too sharp, too unavailable. But the alpha female, she doesn't flinch. She doesn't retreat when he withdraws. She calls it out. She steps closer, not out of desperation, but out of dominance. And that's the first time in a long time the Sigma feels something real. A worthy adversary who isn't trying to control him, just refusing to be controlled. The ego battle turns into mutual calibration. It's no longer about winning. It becomes a test of strength, discipline, and self-mastery. The alpha female doesn't break the Sigma. She matches him. She doesn't try to soften him. She sharpens him. And in a world full of emotional manipulation and passive-aggressive games, that kind of direct tension becomes magnetic. It's not about love. It's not about lust. It's about respect. And that's the foundation of obsession for a Sigma male. 4. The depth Sigma can't find in Sigma women. On paper, the Sigma-Sigma dynamic looks like a dream. Two introspective, self-sufficient minds who value space, independence, and purpose. But in reality, this dynamic often lacks one key ingredient: emotional gravity. You see, Sigma women are mirrors of the Sigma man. They're emotionally reserved, mentally sharp, and ruthlessly autonomous. They vanish as easily as they appear, and they rarely demand more than what they give, which isn't much by Sigma standards. But here's the truth most won't say out loud. That dynamic gets stale. Fast. There's no pull, no tension, no ignition. Sigma males don't need someone to validate their solitude. They've already mastered that. What they need, without realizing it, is a woman who brings emotional charge, without emotional chaos. Enter the alpha female. She doesn't beg, she doesn't cling, she doesn't orbit, but she does confront, she does connect, she does bring intensity with direction. She's not just deep, she's engaged. And that difference matters, because while Sigma women may offer peace, the alpha woman offers movement, not the chaotic kind that destabilizes, the kind that awakens, the kind that pulls the Sigma out of his fortress and reminds him there's more to life than mental mastery. There's also emotional voltage. It's not submission he wants, it's balance. And only an alpha female has the kind of command presence that invites the Sigma male to put his sword down, not because he lost the war, but because there's finally peace between equals. 6. Why the alpha female feels like home to the Sigma. You wouldn't expect this part. On the surface, alpha females are the opposite of what Sigma males seek. They're visible, vocal, and unapologetically present. But here's the paradox no one talks about. They feel like home. Not home in the cozy, passive Netflix and chill kind of way. Home as in raw alignment, where the masks come off and both people stand in their full, unfiltered identity, without threat, without fear, without performance. Here's why. Sigma males spend their lives playing defense. They filter every interaction. They read between the lines. They see the manipulation, the neediness, the games. Most people feel like noise. Most relationships feel like compromise. So when someone, especially a woman, meets them with full, grounded confidence, it's jarring. In a good way. The alpha female doesn't want to change him. She doesn't try to fix him. She doesn't even try to understand him completely. And that's the magic. She respects his mystery. She lets him roam in his solitude, but keeps her own orbit just as strong. And that shared sovereignty, that shared refusal to be needy, performative or codependent, that feels like safety to the Sigma. Because home for a Sigma isn't peace, it's authenticity. It's raw, silent alignment where no one's trying to escape themselves. The alpha female gives him that by not asking for more than he can give and still matching his power without flinching. That's why she doesn't just attract him, she anchors him. 7. Sigma. Females are too much like him. Let's rip the band-aid off. Sigma females are impressive, no doubt. They're independent, strategic, self-contained, but that's exactly the problem when paired with a Sigma male. They're too much like him. It sounds romantic. Two minds that think alike, two souls that thrive in solitude, two people who get it. But here's what really happens. No one initiates, no one disrupts the silence, no one challenges the internal world of the other. Instead of sparking growth, the relationship becomes a reflection loop. Sigma mirrors Sigma. Silence meets silence. Distance meets distance. It's calm, sure, but it's also empty. And that's the thing most people misunderstand about Sigma males. They don't want constant peace. They want intentional impact. They want a woman who moves differently, thinks differently, pushes them into the parts of themselves they can't reach alone. The alpha female, she doesn't reflect him. She reconstructs him, not by force, but by being so unshakably herself that it forces the Sigma to evaluate himself. He doesn't want validation. He wants awakening. And two Sigmas together, they fall asleep. That's not attraction. That's emotional hibernation. 8. The exit strategy. Why alpha females keep him hooked. Here's the game-changing truth. Sigma males always have an exit strategy. They're not emotional runners, they're strategic ghosts. If things get shallow, dramatic or fake, they disappear without warning. No guilt, no announcement, just silence. Most people let them go. Sigma females, they disappear too. But alpha females, they don't flinch, they confront. They look the Sigma in the eye and say, if you're walking out, own it. If you're running, say why. If you're hiding, face yourself. That kind of energy breaks the Sigma's usual escape loop, because it forces him to stay present. She's not clingy, she's not begging, she just refuses to be ghosted like she doesn't matter. And that direct challenge, delivered with calm confidence, makes her unforgettable. The Sigma, for once, is seen, not admired, not analyzed, but seen, and more importantly, held accountable. That's rare, that's dangerous, and that's why she sticks in his mind long after she's gone. He might not admit it, but she's the only one who made him stop running, and that's obsession fuel. So here we are, ascenders. We've debunked the myth, shattered the echo chamber, and revealed what most dating experts will never tell you. The Sigma male, the silent strategist, the lone wolf, the ghost in the system, doesn't want a clone. He doesn't want another mystery. He doesn't want someone who disappears when challenged. He wants a woman who stays solid while the ground shakes, who meets his power not with fear, but with equal fire. He wants someone who isn't trying to tame him and isn't asking to be tamed, and that someone is the alpha female, not because she completes him, but because she complicates him in the most necessary way. She brings the one thing he can't create alone, contrast. That's why he keeps orbiting back.
That's why he stays locked in, even in silence. That's why the obsession never fades. So if you're a Sigma watching this, don't look for your reflection. Look for your challenge. And if you're an Alpha watching this, never tone yourself down for a man who can't match your voltage. The Sigma will find you, and when he does, He won't need to control you. He'll just respect the storm. If this video sparked something, don't just vanish. Subscribe, share it, and keep walking the path that makes people uncomfortable. Because that's the path of the Ascender. Until next time, stay untamed, stay unseen, stay undeniable.